Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at 7 common separable phrasal verbs in English, and we're going to be looking at the definitions, how to structure them, and also a few examples with each. Now, a few weeks ago, I released a video talking about the difference between separable and inseparable phrasal verbs. So if you completely need to refresh your memory, maybe consider watching that particular video before you watch this one. There should be a link up here somewhere in the video in this moment. But basically, in that video, I mentioned that there are some phrasal verbs, so verbs that are made up of 2 or 3 words that can be separated, and they can be separated specifically with the direct object. Now, in order to show you what that looks like, let's take a look at the first example, and the first example is to give something up. Now, this phrasal verb, to give something up, means to stop doing or consuming or using something. So, for example, I went to the doctor and my doctor said I should give smoking up. Now you see in this particular example that the verb is give up, but it has been separated by the direct object, which is smoking in this particular case. Now, in the first video, I also mentioned that when you're using a particular noun, a specific noun as the direct object of a separable phrasal verb, it is possible to separate the verb, but it's not necessary. So you can put first the 2 words of the verb and then after the direct object. So in this particular case, if I say my doctor said I should give up smoking, it is also correct. However, when you're using a pronoun as the direct object, it is necessary to separate it. So for example, my doctor said I should give smoking up. However, I'm having a difficult time giving it up. So again, I have giving up being separated by the direct object, the word it, in this particular case. Okay, so now that we have reestablished that particular rule, we should be able to continue with the definition of the other 6 phrasal verbs very quickly. So next I have to look something up. And something referring typically to some kind of information. For example, I don't understand this word, so I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. Again, I have a pronoun as a direct object, so I separate the verb look up with the direct object. I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. However, I could also say I need to look this word up because I don't understand it. Or you can have a sentence like, can you look up the recipe for ceviche? In the final example, because the recipe is a specific noun, I can put the direct object between the 2 parts of the verb, but it's not necessary. I can put it after as well. Next, we have switch on. Switch on means the same thing as turn on. So basically, to make a machine start working by pushing or switching a button. The game is on. Can you switch on the TV? Or can you switch the TV on? The lights are off and it's getting dark. Can you switch them on? The opposite of switch on, by the way, would be switch off. Next, we have to turn something up. It means to increase the volume or intensity of something, particularly a machine. So for example, I can't hear the radio. Can you turn it up? I always turn the volume up when I hear my favorite song, or I always turn up the volume when I hear my favorite song. The opposite of turn up is turn down, which means to decrease the volume or intensity of a machine. Next, we have to call something off, and it means to cancel something, usually an event. So for example, we can't call off the party now, all the invitations have been sent. Or we can't call the party off. All the invitations have been sent. Jane was going to get married today, but she called it off at the last minute, referring to the wedding. Next, we have to put something off, which means to postpone something. So for example, I need to finish my homework, but I keep putting it off. Or you can't put your visit to the dentist off forever. Or the same sentence can be structured like, you can put off your visit to the dentist forever. Next, we have the verb to drop something off, to drop something or someone off. And it means to take and leave something or someone in a specific place. So for example, I always drop off my children at school on my way to work. Or I always drop my children off at school on my way to work. The suit is dirty. I'll drop it off at the dry cleaners today. And there you go. That's 7 definitions of 7 phrasal verbs that are very, very common in everyday language, in English. And knowing them and knowing how to use them is essential if you want to speak and understand natural conversations in English. So I do recommend that you practice them and that you try to incorporate them into your everyday conversations. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, maybe consider subscribing to the channel.